All right, my Italian food fanatics, I put stop there for a reason. There's a little bit of a problem with the way these peppers are titled. It should be peppers Siciliani because peppers are plural. Now, all through the video, you're going to see that I call this a New York Italian dish. In fact, I put it on the front cover, is because somebody that was not familiar with the Italian language actually named this. I didn't name it myself. So you're going to know that it may be Italian immigrants that put this dish together, but there were nobody that knew the Italian language named it at all. So they could be Italians, but they were American Italians that did not properly understand Italian. And that's the reason why it's not called Siciliani. In fact, bell peppers in Italian are called peperone. Anyway, that's just to clear up any problems or anything that you might be thinking, or any Italians that may be looking at this saying, that's not Italian, it's New York Italian, okay? All right, onward. Today we're going to make a side dish called peppers Siciliano. It could even be an appetizer, believe it or not. It's a little bit involved because we have to get red bell peppers, we have to roast them off, we have to peel them, and we have a lot of other ingredients that are indicative of Southern Italian cooking. But we know that this is not an actual Southern Italian or Sicilian dish. It's more of a New York Italian style dish by virtue of all of the different ingredients that are used. For example, white wine and chicken stock, and there's some reductions in there. So we know that it's definitely not an actual Sicilian dish. It was probably created by Sicilian immigrants here in America. Now, with that said, I have gone ahead and made a few other refinements. In the original recipe, everything was thrown together, sautéed for a couple of minutes, and then put under the broiler. I've changed it to reduce the wine and reduce the chicken stock separately to elevate the dish to a professional level as far as technique and method is concerned. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get in the kitchen and I'll show you how to make this. It's wonderful, as I said, as an appetizer, and it's also good to go with chicken, meat, and even a more robust fish like a branzino. Before I forget, please thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I release another video. Share with your friends. If you have any friends, I hope you have friends. Sharing is caring. And leave a comment down below. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get in the kitchen and make peppers Siciliano. All right, let's get started. For our peppers Siciliano, we're going to need peppers. These are red bell peppers. Don't use anything but red. That's the only color because when they caramelize and when we roast them, they have a specific flavor that none of the other colored bell peppers have. We're also going to be using some California extra virgin olive oil. There's going to be some capers in there. There's going to be olives. There's going to be some oregano. After all, this is a New York style Italian dish. We're going to use some anchovies in there. We'll use some chicken stock. There's going to be some white wine. We'll use some breadcrumbs. We'll use some basil, and of course a little bit of garlic as well. I'm actually going to go lower on the garlic because I think that the garlic is too austere, especially in a lot of New York Italian food. There's way too much garlic. So we have to first roast these peppers. We have to chop up the olives. We have to chop up the anchovies, wash and chop the basil, and also mince the garlic. There are 2 cloves of garlic right here that we are also going to use, like I mentioned earlier, instead of 4 or 6. So let's start with the peppers. Let's go to the stove. So how do you roast peppers? Very simple. Put a little flame on, and the peppers go directly on the flame, just like this. I'm going to put 2 on one burner and 2 on another burner, but you get the idea. You need a pair of tongs, and these will char. They'll get black all over, and you need to turn them while they blacken, so they blacken all over. And then we're going to put them in a bowl. We'll get to that in just a moment. Okay, now that our peppers have roasted, you can see we're going to place them inside of a bowl. Here are the other ones, the other two. And we're going to cover this with plastic wrap and let it sit for about 10 minutes while they steam, and then we're going to peel the skin off of the peppers. All right, so now we have our olives that are chopped up, our basil, our garlic, and the anchovies. Next, we'll turn our attention to the red bell peppers. We're going to peel them and then slice them. When you go to peel these peppers, you can do so mostly with your hands, just like this. Okay. Now these are a little bit hot, but my fingers are used to that. Yours may not be, and so for that reason I suggest that you wait until they're fully cooled down so that you don't burn yourself. You actually won't burn yourself, it'll just be very, very uncomfortable for you. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm used to this. I can literally, not theoretically, no, but I can literally put my hands in flame, and it doesn't bother me that much anymore. You get to the point where you can tolerate a lot of heat with your hands. All right, so it's not completely clean. We'll do that when we open it up and take the seeds out, which I'll show you in just a second. There you go. All right, now that we've taken off most of the charred skin, we're going to cut the pepper in half like this, and we're going to take this end away, the stem, and then the all of the seeds from the inside we're going to clean out, just like that. And when we turn this over, we'll just rub away the remnants of the skin that did not come off earlier, just like this. And whatever's not there, we can just cut that off. And if you don't mind a little bit of that skin on there, kind of like when you buy the jarred ones, you can do that as well. If you're a perfectionist, then you're going to want to get everything completely clean. All right? That is acceptable. All right, now that our bell peppers are peeled and de-seeded, you can see how clean there is. Just these little tiny bits, which you're going to have them. There's no other way around it, all right? And what we want to do is we want to cut them into strips like this. Very simple. All right, I'll do that, and we'll come back and finish up this dish. All right, let's get started. On about a medium heat, we are going to get a skillet that's oven-proof, by the way. Add a little bit of olive oil in there. I'm going to be a little bit generous, as I always am with the olive oil. In fact, we could use just a tad bit more. There we go. And we're going to put in our anchovies first. I'm going to let these sort of melt into the oil. And then we'll add our garlic. And I'll be back when this is incorporated. Don't be afraid of anchovies. You'll love them. All right, as you can see, our anchovies are slowly melting into the olive oil. Again, this is on medium heat. We don't want it too high because we're about to put the garlic in. Be back in a second. All right, time to put our garlic in. And we don't want to cook this for too long. We just want a little bit of color on the garlic to basically make it golden brown. All right, because we're going to put peppers in here and we're going to cook them for a couple of minutes, and we don't want the garlic to burn in the interim. So here we go, about 30 seconds to get it flavorful or aromatic. And now we put our peppers in. Going to give it just a couple of more seconds. Very good. That's about right. I'm going to warm these through. Let them get the flavors of the garlic and the anchovies and swim in a little bit of oil there. And in the interim, we are going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Now remember, the anchovies are going to be a little bit salty, and we have capers coming. So what we're going to do is just add enough salt to basically give a little bit of flavor, not too much. That was a very little amount, just enough to season the peppers. All right. Now we're going to let this cook a little while, and I'll be back for the addition of everything. All right, now that we've cooked this for a couple of minutes, we're going to add a little bit of wine in there. And we're going to let that wine reduce down. You don't have to be here for that. This is already bubbling and coming up to temperature. We will reduce the wine out until it begins to sizzle again, and then we'll add our other ingredients. I'll be back. All right, you can see that the wine has reduced out. A little bit of oil is left, and it's beginning to sizzle again. And that is our cue. I'm going to add a little bit of oregano in here. Dried oregano is very, very Southern Italian. Has a nice flavor to it, but again, not too much. If you talk to somebody from the north, they'll complain that American Italians and Italians in the South add too much oregano to the food. It's a different type and a way of cooking. Don't listen to those people. Now we're going to add our olives in. Get everything in there. All right. And capers. Oh, look at that. Look at those beautiful colors. I mean, this is really something else. How sweet it is. We'll add some of our basil. We're going to save a little bit for the end. And finally, we're going to add in our chicken broth, chicken stock. And we're going to let that cook for a couple of minutes to let the flavors meld and the chicken stock to reduce a little bit. And then we're going to put breadcrumbs on top, put this in the oven, and brown the breadcrumbs under the broiler. All right, so I'll be back. All right, you can see that our chicken stock has reduced down. All right, and this has become, again, viscous. I'm going to turn the heat off, and we are going to put our breadcrumbs on top. We're not going to use all the breadcrumbs that I have here, just some. And this will actually tighten everything up as well. All right? Just like that. Now, you could have also added in here some red pepper. That would really make it Southern Italian. But let it be kind of known that some people don't like it. Some people cannot deal with the hot peppers, and so sometimes it's better that you don't make this stuff with the hot peppers. We're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, just like they would back in the old country, and this is going to go under the broiler until this is browned. We'll be back. All right, there we go. That's exactly what you're looking for. Look how beautifully golden brown the top is. Now it's time to add a little bit of basil to the top of it, just like this. And if this were for a party or anything like that, I would have obviously put this in a heat-proof dish that we could just pull right out from under the broiler. Put a little bit of this basil on here, not parsley, sorry. And how sweet it is. Look at that. That is a beautiful thing. Let's dish it up. All right, my Italian food fanatics, you saw me pull it out from under the broiler. You saw me add a little bit of basil on top and dish it up. Here it is. Now it's time to see if these peppers Siciliano, a New York Italian style dish, side dishes, any good. This is obviously very American Italian, as opposed to really being, it's probably, Sicilian immigrants probably came up with it. But anyway. That is fantastic. As a side dish, to serve with literally anything, chicken, pork, beef, even fish, believe it or not. Something like a branzino or even salmon would hold up. This would hold up to this, because this is very, very robust. The capers and olives. The flavor of the peppers is there a little bit. Really, really, really good. And then the crunch from the breadcrumbs that have been nicely browned under the broiler. We have that wonderful flavor of a chicken broth in there. You can taste a little bit of wine. You definitely know there was a reduction. The garlic is there, but not too strong. I didn't add a lot of garlic. This is really, really good. You can have this as an appetizer with a slice of bread. Of course, we have breadcrumbs, but to put it on top of the bread, to have a soft bread, and then the crunch from the breadcrumbs would be really, really good. And you could even drizzle a little bit of fruity olive oil on top, as if we need more olive oil. I love red peppers. This is fantastic. I'm going to finish this plate, but in the meantime, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell button so that you know when I release another video. And as I always do, no matter where you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you very much for watching my videos on this channel. If I've inspired you to make a dish, there's a dish that's part of the catalog that you've made, and you'd like me to feature you, please contact me on social media at Chef Argenti. Send me your name, pictures of the dish that you made, and I am ecstatic to feature you on a future episode of Italian Food Fanatics. With that said, again, no matter where you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.